Taranto. Since the inspection of Dracula's refuge, several weeks had already passed, but there was no further viewing appointment in sight. Despite everything, Rieke firmly believed in her vision. Just because the apartment had not yet appeared in the material world did not mean that they were not on the way toward it. The vision had to be held until it manifested, and Rieke was getting better and better at that. The new chapter had given her a fabulous idea. When she was very young, her mom and she had also held tea ceremonies several times a day on a small balcony. She remembered it well. Her mother had bought a cute little tea set just for the two of them. It had stars and moons on the cups and the pot. Could they integrate this little ritual back into their lives? For now it would still be possible, because it was still pleasantly cool outside. As soon as the hot summer would come, they would simply have to switch to iced tea. Rieke had loved reading in the book how cozily they had sat together. Jasper and Zelira would have a wonderful partnership. But what did that flower mean, the one Perry had received as an oracle? Of course, she immediately knew which plant it was while reading. It was a daisy, her favorite flower. At home, there were huge meadows where they grew in abundance. How strange that none of them recognized it. One thing was certain. For their own tea time, they definitely needed rock sugar. Rieke had already searched all the nearby shops, but had not found any. The Italians hardly drank tea, and if they did, then mostly chamomile. And so it was difficult to find this sugar, as there was no real demand for it. One Saturday afternoon, they all jumped into the car and drove to a shopping center. They just have to have rock sugar there, Linnea exclaimed decisively. Rieke simply decided that they would find some today. When a decision was made, the universe usually reacted faster than one only hoped. Besides, it was a small experiment. On the way there, which took a bit longer, Linnea turned on her and Rieke's absolute favorite band, Green Day. Even her father, who normally listened only to Italian music, bopped along to the beat. For years, Rieke had loved this music group because you could really dance well to their songs. Until now, she had never been to a concert because the bands she usually listened to never came anywhere near her town. Most of the bands came from the 70s to the 90s and toured mostly in America or far away from Apulia. So it was a bit difficult for her to attend a concert. They reached the large shopping center and her father parked the car. Rieke looked up at the sky. "It's definitely going to rain later," she announced joyfully. Thick, dark clouds floated above them and a cold wind whistled around. Since it was Saturday, many people were out and about. You could already tell from their clothing that Rieke and her family were not from here. Although it was only a little chilly, the Italians wore thick jackets, long pants, and even hats. For Rieke and her mother, this temperature was perfect for light, airy clothing. They did not perceive this weather as cold. In their homeland, they were used to far more cold and therefore were a little bit more resistant. Another point that revealed that they were not from here was that Rieke and her mother were almost the only women not wearing makeup. Rieke had never worn more than mascara or eyeliner. The same went for her mother, who, if anything, would also only use a dark eyeshadow. At the entrance door, warm air steamed toward them, and they heard many loud voices. Before dedicating themselves to search for rock sugar, they checked various clothing stores to see if there were any good offers. Rieke would very much like a beige cardigan that she could wear in the evening while reading her book. Unfortunately, there was not too much to choose from. The women here mostly wore rather plain or chic clothing, but Rieke paid attention to quality and especially to comfort while wearing it. She browsed here and there, almost bumped into a classic grandma who had hidden behind a pile of laundry, and then actually discovered the perfect cardigan in a corner. It was a single piece, exactly in the color she had wished for. It was decorated with small ruffles and huge buttons, which she especially liked. What a luck! After the purchase, they strolled on. Rieke observed the people passing by her. They were all in a hurry and seemed far away with their thoughts. Additionally, most of them looked very dissatisfied. There was a lot of noise, and many energies pelted down on Rieke. Would these people feel more comfortable in Nivaleth, she wondered, as she watched a man dragging his shopping bag with such a grim face as if he just missed out on a whole chest of gold. Although so many people surrounded her, Rieke felt lonely. She wished Perry was here. It would surely be wonderful to go shopping with such a relaxed, kind man. Rieke simply imagined that he was with her. Immediately, she felt better and was able to look at everything with a smile. It really felt as if he was by her side. Suddenly, she noticed a beautiful older lady wearing a violet blazer and silver shoes and jewelry. Perry would have certainly complimented her. Normally, Rieke had always been too shy for what she now did, but something inside her seemed to have changed. She walked up to the woman and said, "Wow, what a beautiful outfit you're wearing. You really look great." The lady looked up from the advertisement she had been reading and smiled so broadly that you could see all her gleaming white teeth. "Grazie," she replied happily. Rieke explained to her how much she admired it when people dressed in such a unique way. The woman was delighted, and they chatted for a few minutes about fashion and what it meant to dress the way you truly wanted without feeling strange about it. Her mother joined them as well, and the three of them had an interesting conversation. Afterwards, Rieke's cheeks were burning hot from excitement. She had never done anything like this before, and yet it had come so easily to her. She had never realized that such a small exchange of energy could bring so much joy to both sides.